The next thing I want to tackle with regards to sharing is how to share temporarily or change or remove access altogether. So, we've already talked about the way you can go in and right click on a folder or file and go to share and see who has permissions currently. So, let's say, for example, I'm in a work group with Michelle Gregg and I want to add her. At that point, I can assign her permissions here. So maybe I just want her to be able to comment on this. And if I leave this checked, notify people, I can put a message in here. Hey, Michelle, this is the document I was talking about. Give me your feedback. And then I can click send, and it will send her an email with a link to this file, alerting her that I have shared a file with her. If, however, she and I are sitting, side by side, and I don't really need to send her an email, I can uncheck that and I can just share it with her. And she'll come over here to the shared with me on her folder to find it. But if I do send her a notification, it's nice because it puts an email in her inbox, which she can then go back to find it more quickly sometimes. So I want to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and share that with her. I want to talk about when you change your mind or you're auditing your files and you're just going through to see who has what permissions, and you realize that for whatever reason, she doesn't need access to this file or folder anymore. So I'm going to click on the share button and I see I have her on here. And again, this is also where I could go in to change her permissions. But down here, I can remove her. I can also, if this is something we were working on together, but I'm kind of passing it along to her that I want her now to be the owner, I can also make her the owner of this document. It will leave me on as an editor, but it will move ownership from my account to her account. And then lastly, I can give her temporary access. So I want to talk about that. I want to, first of all, come back to our levels of permissions in Google Drive and take a look at these two columns here. The commenter and viewer are the only two that you can give temporary access to. So if I made her an editor, there's no way to make temporary access for editors. So keep that in mind. If this is something you're going to want to change, you probably want to keep them to a viewer or a commenter. So I'm going to come down here to where it says give temporary access. And notice a little stopwatch appears there. And if I mouse over it, I can see when that access expires. And by default, it gives you 30 days, but I can come in here and change that. So maybe she and I are going to be working on this project through the end of September. So I wanted to just automatically revoke permissions for me at the end of September, so I don't have to remember to go back and tidy it up afterwards. So I'm going to leave that there and click on save. All right. And again, I don't really see anything here that tells me that there's temporary access, but if I right click, go to share, and I'm going to see Michelle's name on there. That little stopwatch there is what tells me that that is limited. So if I mouse over it, that's where I can see when access is due to expire. And again, if I change her to editor, notice that the little clock goes away because they get permanent permission to have access to this file. So I'm actually going to remove her since this is something she really doesn't need. And then once I've made all the changes I want to make, I hit save and we're good to go.